Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This one's going to be pretty short and sweet. This is kind of like the capstone to a previous video where we talked about eSun Resin. So we reached out to eSun and they sent us a bottle of their green castable resin. This wasn't like a sponsorship sort of situation. We reached out because we want to expand our library for as many castable resins as we possibly can. We have a ranked list of which ones we liked. So we finished the casting for those prints that we've discussed in the previous one. And I have some mixed results. So for starters, we have this little bead. This is actually one that is a test. Essentially, this is more for printability. In other words, like these little connections in the ball are 0.3 or 0.2 mil. And this design here is specific to figure out that the print is printing 100% correct. In other words, every ball should weigh 0.184 grams or something like that. So if you get that far, then you know it's good print, a good print. Now, of course, every resin is a little different, so this bed in this particular resin might not actually be able to cast because the resin isn't designed to print, or to cast something this thin, which I believe is the case with this eSun stuff. I would rank the eSun very much in the middle in terms of castability. Only about a quarter of this came out. Now you see this is kind of the sprue here. Only about a quarter of the design actually came out. It's not great. But like I said, it's very, very thin, so I wasn't surprised in the least. Now, we just tried to cast it because why not? I mean, it helps figure out how thin can you go. It helps figure out, how small of a prong can you make in your piece and expect to get out. On a different note, these were our own designs, and these ones are on the opposite end of compared to the bead, the test piece. These are very heavy models. Now, I'm not super happy with how any of them came out, honestly. Well, anyway, let's start with the snake. So these are snake earrings, they're weights. I think this is 2 gauge up here. Now, the surface finish on these did not come out very good. There was supposed to be scales in here, and you can kind of see them. You can kind of see them in there and on the sides. I'm still learning with ZBrush, so I didn't really understand the depth. I mean, when you're working on a model really, really close, everything looks perfect and great, and oh yeah, that's awesome. But then you make it and it's like, oh yeah, this is only like 20 millimeters tall. Anyway, so the surface finish is okay. It's not deep enough. I think I'll go back and redo that, honestly. Just smooth everything out and go back with the brush, and I'll just increase the depth and see how it goes. And then up here, this is the area where I was looking more. Up here is meant to be smooth, so there was kind of like a break. The scales come up and then they fade right about here, and the rest was supposed to be smooth to about here. And the reason for that is, as they are earrings, this part was going to go in the ear, and that would be the smoothest, it would be the most comfortable. So anyway, that kind of all got lost. Like, this is about what I was hoping for all the way around. For whatever reason, I also got a lot of bubbles in this cast. Bubbles aren't too big a deal because you can just pull them off with a pair of pliers. I believe I did it on this one already. Debubbled, that is. But there's a lot of other surface imperfections. Like, particularly here, there's a lot of, it's not really surface pitting, it's just like a texture. It doesn't look great. It can be sanded away, but it's a fair amount of work, and who knows how deep it is. So I'm kind of on the fence between even trying to save these, because there's quite a few details, like in the face, in the eye, there and there, that just, they didn't really come out nice in the cast. This is sorry, to move on. This is a dog tag, or something of a dog tag. I'm not super happy with it. It didn't come out very well. It's a bit heavy, it's a bit thick. I think this is 3 mil thick. The inside is thinner, however, it didn't quite work out the way I wanted. So I'm probably going to recast all of these things. We'll see later on. Now here's something to mention about eSun, actually about resins and castable resins in general. So when it comes to castable resins, next to wax, that is, wax does not thermally expand. Resin, however, does. And you can see it around the edges, particularly. It's very slight, and it's definitely fixable if I were inclined to fix it. Where essentially the plastics expanded a little bit, and then it cracked all the way around, and the silver filled that area. This is very, very mild in terms of thermal expansion cracking, but it's still present. Now, I'm surprised I didn't get any in this, because this is much thicker. So it's kind of, maybe it was a design thing. Maybe it's because it was such a hard edge. Hard to say exactly, like it created a shear point. Again, hard to say. I'm not going to get into too much detail about that here. You'll also notice that it's very warped. This was a result of the resin itself. I stored these resins in my cure station in the dark for about a week before I cast them. Now they cast fine, but a flat object obviously warped a lot, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Not hard to fix, you just kind of put that on the anvil, tap, 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 and even everything out. So in terms of surface detail, like this was meant to be smooth. It kind of worked here, but it broke down very rapidly around the outside. A lot of this was bubbles, as I mentioned, but anyway, surface finish is not great. So just a little bit of background, I suppose. When we've printed with resins and cast them, we get some mixed results. Generally speaking, the resin will be really good at, well, generally speaking, the resin will be really good at really small things. In other words, it burns out, you get really nice detail, but it's hard to print. Or you get a really good print and the casting is garbage. I would not rank this resin as the worst resin we've ever used or cast with, but it's definitely not the highest. I hesitate to really say I'd recommend it, if not for the price, and depending on what you're doing. If you're, kind of like a garage caster or prosumer, you're just starting out, or you just want to try it, like you just dial in the printing, it's not a bad place to start. In terms of cost, this one is definitely the lowest cost. So depending on your models, if they're somewhere between, really thick and heavy and really, really spindly, you're probably going to be okay. It's definitely a resin that you can give a shot, but limit your expectations. There are a lot of other resins out there that we would rank, or I would say, are better than this. At the expense, of course. They're not all flawless, and you can't have super cheap, super good. If you have all of those things, you're lacking something. So would I recommend this resin to you? I'm gonna say yes, but like barely. Cost, it is definitely the least expensive of the lot that we've tried. Print quality is good, not flawless, but good. I'm sure it can be dialed in depending on your printer. We just used their basic settings. We didn't really expand out or try much. It just happened to work. Print quality was good. We were able to see a lot of the details came out. However, in the casting, we did lose quite a few details. So if you're willing to put in the work to fix your models after, if the need arises anyway, then yes, this stuff is pretty good. Are there better resins? Yes. Are there worse resins? Absolutely. This stuff is pretty good, but again, it's hard to recommend it fully, knowing what else is out there. To see those other resins, please check out our other videos. We have quite a few adding up now. So that's all I have to say for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see the previous video when we talk about the printing, please go check that out on our channel. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. And we do have a membership thing somewhere down here. Please, if you want to get more information or support us in that way, that'd be lovely. We will see you guys in the next video.